give our friend Duffy a warm Greater Corona Valley Chamber of Commerce welcome.
Good morning, members of the not-so-silent majority. We were the guys that used to be silent a couple of decades ago, but we are not so silent anymore. We are about taking this country back, taking our state back, and getting our freedoms back. Do I hear an amen to that? And I think we're coming to about the most important 60 days that I can recall in recent memory. We have coming up in 12 days. I think a couple of you guys that stood up know there's an election happening. I'd like to start off today. I didn't bring you good news. Enjoy me while I'm here, because you probably won't invite me back. The news up ahead is not good. And I've come here to share it with you, and especially as you were introducing yourself, I couldn't help but notice that there are a lot of small business people here. And I know that you didn't build that.
So they say.
Now you know where I'm coming from. Everybody comes here to talk to you with a bias. I confess, I am a Christian, born again, spirit-filled. I am more conservative than Rush Limbaugh. To me, he's liberal. I'm slightly to the right of Attila the Hun. I'm a heterosexual. And I'm a pro-lifer. I come out here frequently to do the Corona Life Services events, and that's a passion of mine and has been for 31 years. So now you know where I'm coming from. Now let me tell you why I've come to you today. Pam and I started a campaign 3 years ago to stop cap and free. How many of you are aware that cap and free begins in earnest in California 8 days after Election Day? Scattering of hands. Do you know why you don't know? You don't know because the media isn't telling you. You don't know because most politicians are not telling you. And that's why we've started our campaign. Primarily, we're coming here to alert you, like you were riding on the Titanic and heading to the iceberg. We found out about this 3 years ago, quite by accident. And we're here to tell you what's coming to California, what's ahead, not to frighten you, but to get you active. We need to stop cap and free in our state. If I were to ask you to come up here and in 30 seconds or less explain how cap and trade works, how many of you would take me up on the challenge and come up here and do that? I have one lady back here, and she's probably seen my demonstration before. I want to explain to you how this works. We've had some paucity of leadership. I think that's a polite way of saying it. In California, ever since the new century started, we've had Gray, Jerry, and Schwarzenhousekeeper. Those are, I'm not sure whether that's the good, the bad, and the ugly, or the Three Musketeers, or the Three Stooges of Sacramento, but that's been our leadership. Back in 2006, Governor Arnold signed something into law called the 2006 Global Warming Solutions Act. And in there was enacting legislation called cap and free. Now, global warming solutions was thought up by essentially Al Gore. He introduced it after he lost the election in 2000 and started doing a tour of college campuses based on his book, Earth in the Balance. And out of that grew a movie that you probably saw, An Inconvenient Truth. I'm here to tell you 4 quick inconvenient truths. The globe is not warming. The globe right now is going into a cooling trend. The polar bears are just fine. There are people that are paid by our federal government to go around and count the noses of polar bears every 10 years. There were only 5,000 of them back in the 50s, so they put them on the endangered species list, and now we've got 25,000 polar bears, and they are thriving. As a matter of fact, the Alaskans want them taken off of the endangered species so they can go back to hunting polar bears again, because that's what they do up there. The ice mass. You've all heard that the icebergs are melting and that the ice mass is reducing in size. And that's true. In the North Pole area, God has a wonderful way of keeping this creation in balance. So down at the South Pole, the ice mass is growing at about 1.5 times the state of Texas every year. And also, Al came up with the idea that we have 5 very dangerous gases that we have to keep under control. The first one is carbon dioxide. Would you please do me a favor, and for the remainder of my presentation, do not exhale. Because every time you exhale, that's carbon dioxide, and I know you don't want to pollute the earth. The second one is called nitrous oxide. I noticed that there were a few dental professionals in the crowd as you introduced yourself. Back when I was a kid growing up, nitrous oxide was known as laughing gas. I think we all need to laugh a little more. So let's release a lot of laughing gas and not restrict it. So, now, the other one's a little awkward. It's methane. Are any of you acquainted with cows? Cows emit methane from both ends. And this is a great audience down here. This is great. And those are the 3 majors. The other 2 are long scientific names that I can't remember and can't pronounce if I could. Give me a break, I'm 74. So there are these 5 gases. And ever since that 2006 Global Warming Solutions Act was passed, your tax money has been paying for an organization called the California Air Resources Board, CARB, to come around to your businesses, and I've talked with some of you, and I know that you have been hit with the forms that need to be filled out, to report to the state how many of those gases your business releases every year. And if you exceed that, that's called your cap. If you exceed that cap, you have to trade money to the state, and they give you a permission slip so that you can exceed your cap and stay in business. Now let me explain to you how this works. I'm going to come down here because I need you to be a volunteer. Would you stand up, please? And sir, would you come over here right now, please? I only have 15 minutes and I have to hurry. This normally takes an hour. You're going to be the state of California, okay? And this is the carbon credit that you have created. Okay, that's it. You're going to have to sell that to businesses around the state who exceed their pollution caps, right? This lady over here is a dairy farmer. She got the cows. And she's been having a good year. She made a lot of money. You'll notice this money is slightly larger than real size. This is Obama money. It's inflated. Now this dear sister over here and her cows, have been eating well and emitting lots. So she has unfortunately exceeded her cap. So in order for you to stay in business with your cows, you're going to have to buy this carbon credit from the state of California and from the California Air Resources Board. I'm explaining cap and trade to you, okay? Watch how it works. Notice there's no time to my fingers leaving my hands. The state is selling this to you for $100. And I see you've had a very successful year, so hey, $100 isn't much to pay, right? So you can buy that for $100, and you need this, and, well, wait just a second. You see, pollution has now become a commodity. This is a commodity like gasoline, like wheat, like corn. And regretfully, the state of California can't enter into the commodity trading business. So they've had to hire me as a commodity trader. I'm like Cantor Fitzgerald, which is the outfit that have been handling cap and trade in the European Union for the last 7 years. Over there, they have 27 countries involved in cap and trade. They involve 12,000 businesses. Those businesses have bought certificates like this for $130 billion in 7 years, and Cantor Fitzgerald makes approximately 4% on the exchange. It's a nice business to be in. Cantor Fitzgerald opened on September the 12th of last year, opened up their San Francisco office so they can engage in the same kind of trading here in California, because this now becomes the second largest carbon market of planet Earth. I would love to sell this to you for $100, but unfortunately, I got a call on my way over here from a cement manufacturer. And you know, the cement guys, when they make a ton of cement, the carb people say they create a ton of pollution. And they needed some carbon credits, so the guy said, hey, listen, before you sell that to that cow lady, I'll pay you $200 for it. And then right after that, I got a call from a winery. And the winery said, my gosh, when we turn grapes into sugar, we create a gas, and that gas is a pollutant. And it's going to cost our winery about $1.2 million. That's the average medium-sized refinery that you will, or winery that you will find out in Temecula. $1.2 million a year. So they offered me $300 for this to outbid the cement guys. And then right after that, you're not going to believe this, but the refineries called up. And yeah, I know gasoline is high, but you see, they're polluters too. They have to now manufacture a special grade of gasoline called low carbon fuel. That's in addition to summer and winter. So gosh, they're exceeding their caps, and they offered me $400. And you know, a guy like me, I'm in business, I have to make a little money. So I'll tell you what, I'll sell you this for $500. I know it's a lot to ask, but your cows. You have $500? 1, 2, 3? Yeah, you do. Okay, I'll take this, and you take that. Now your cows can go on and be California happy cows. And here, state of California, here's $100 for your cap and trade credit. Now you know how cap and trade works. And now you know why my wife and I are so ticked off. I mean, they have not explained that to us. Thank you very much. Would you give our volunteers a round of applause? The first carbon credit auction happens 1 week, 8 days after the election. Why do you think they put it there? He's asking you to approve Prop 30 and raise your taxes, and it would be real smart before then to have to ask all of you business people to begin spending money on carbon auctions. So very cleverly, it has been moved to 8 days after the election. Watch for it. Watch for it. Because once it hits, it's going to be impossible to put the toothpaste back in the tube. The genie will be out of the bottle, and we will be on our way to doing this as far into the future as Sacramento politicians need your money. And that's what this is. The first auction will generate $1 billion. $1 billion. I'm not saying that to frighten you, but I'm telling you there's a line item that goes 3 pages long in the current budget, and it includes $1 billion worth of income this year from the cap and trade auction, November the 14th. So there's my pitch. You probably haven't heard about this. You probably aren't aware that it's up there in the road ahead. And we organized our 2 organizations to do a couple of things. The first is to educate. Are you a little bit more aware of what's ahead in cap and trade than you were when you got here this morning? Yes. Then we have accomplished one of our purposes. The second thing is, I need you to get activated. Educate, activate. I need you to start calling up your state assembly people and your state senators and saying to them, what in the world are you leading us into? This is financial suicide for our businesses. We have businesses that are fleeing the state of California, and I think you all, as business people, know what I'm talking about. How many of you know somebody that's left the state recently and headed out of here? Yeah, it's happening. It's an epidemic. The most successful business in California right now is called relocation reps. These are the guys that are sent here from other states and saying, hey, come over to where we are. We have no state income tax. Our sales tax is about half of what California's is. We don't have a really high gasoline tax in our state. And more than anything, we'll give you a block and back that'll take care of your permitting process and maybe even offer you some incentives for coming over. And they're leaving one by one by one. California is now becoming more tax takers than tax payers. 47% nationally, 53% in California pay no taxes. You're paying for them. Educate, activate. I want to motivate you. We have a whole bunch of materials over here. I've duplicated some of the articles that I've written for WorldNet Daily and the California Watchdog. They're free. Please come over and take them. And take them home and read them. I can't get the mainstream media to cover this. We know how media works. I used to be the PR guy for the Beach Boys. If we want to get media happening, we know how to do it. It isn't happening. So please pick that up, duplicate it. There's a fact sheet over there on exactly how cap and trade works and what it's going to mean to you as a business person, and even more than that. Diesel prices have gone up $2.22 within the last year. If there are any diesel truck guys here, you know how bad the increase has been. Are you nodding your head that the price of diesel has gone up? How's that going to translate to you? Well, sit out there by the side of that freeway and watch how many trucks come up and down. If their gas prices are higher, they're going to pass that along to you. Your food costs are going to go up, your stuff at Costco and Staples and all that, it's going to be increased. All that's going to get passed along to you. Fuel prices are going to go up at the pump. You think they're bad now? Wait until cap and trade hits, and wait until they have to produce low carbon fuel. Educate, activate, motivate. We're going to litigate. I have contacted John Eastman, who's probably a name you know. He's the former dean of the Chapman University Law School, and he has determined that we have 5 grounds for a lawsuit. So we're going to sue California. There are two federal issues. One is called the Dormant Commerce Clause, and the other is the Commerce Clause, and the other thing has to do with treaties. See, California only has one partner in trying to solve global warming in North America: Quebec. Quebec. We've signed a trade agreement with Quebec. They don't even speak English. They speak French in Quebec. So that's our global warming partner, and that's an international treaty, and that's against the Constitution. If there's going to be an international treaty, only the federal government can make them. And then there are two state issues that we have for the state courts. Our partners who have gotten involved in our campaign, as I've gone around and made presentations like this, are bringing suits on their own. Watch for them very carefully. You may be hearing from the California Chamber of Commerce on this issue in the not too distant future. At last, they've come around to getting activated. And finally, I'm going to ask you to do something, and this may be a bit awkward, because I don't know what your ground rules are, but I'm going to ask you to donate. Our legal fund begins at 6 figures and goes up from there. That's a lot of money, and I don't have it. We have businesses that are coming alongside and making contributions. If you're a business person, I need your help. I need big help. I need a big bite out of $1 million apple. So if you can afford to make a contribution, a substantial contribution, that would be appreciated. Also, I brought along today these little forms. It's an endorsement form, and I would like you to join us in our campaign. If you would like to personally endorse what we're doing, would you please fill this out and sign it and give it to us? As we run advertisements, we need your name. And more than anything, I'm pleading with the chamber today. I would love your board of directors to take a vote and endorse our no on AB 32 and our no on cap and trade campaign. So would you exert a little pressure on your board of directors and join our fight? Educate, motivate, activate, litigate until we finally decimate cap and trade. When I was on the radio, we had a little not-so-silent majority creed that we used to do. And I'd like to suggest it to you this morning, and if you would, I'll do it, and then you repeat it after me. It's called, I am only one.
I am only one.
But I am one.
I am one.
I can't do everything.
I can't do everything.
But I can do something.
But I can do something.
What I can do, I should do.
What I can do, I should do.
And what I should do, I will do.
What I should do, I will do.
With God as my helper.
With God as my helper.
If I could get each one of you to do something, even if it's something small, make sure that 10 of your friends have transportation to the polls in 8 days. 14 days after that, when we have this cap and trade election, or this auction, would you please mention this to your friends? Bring it up as a point of discussion. You have small groups. Tell your pastor what's going on. Let him tell the people what's going on. Invite me to come and speak at your church. Pass the word along if you know somebody else. That's how I got out here. Somebody heard me at another event and recommended I come here. So please pass the word along, and the donate part, the folks at El Centro and Palm Springs donated to get me here. You'll get me to Redlands and a couple of stops up the road. That's how this works. Thank you very much for inviting me over here this morning. I hope I didn't overstay my welcome. I hope that you will appreciate the fact that we are heading into sobering times, not just as a state, but as America. But I believe, with all of my Irish heart, I believe that we can turn this around and we can be one great nation under God once again. Thank you.
So he said the key word that I was going to leave with you, educate. This is an important election. I'm not going to stand up here and do the political thing and stand on my podium. Vote. Get out there. Make sure before you go to the polls, though, educate yourself on all the ballots, on all the issues, local, regional, federal, and also look at all the candidates. This is your year. This is your voice. Vote and help get other people to the polls. I can't emphasize enough. Vote with your conscience, but vote by being educated. Thank you, Mr. Duffy.